Morning guys, Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I'm out here at a creek crossing out here on the Pathfinder School property, and I want to show you guys how to make a pocket set today for a 110 Conibear. This pocket set can be used for a flat set in the water, for a foothold type trap as well, but it works out really well for Conibears, and I want to show you that today. So stay with me and we're going to get after it. Okay guys, what I got right here is a really good spot to set a 110 Conibear in a pocket set. So what I'm going to do is, a pocket set basically is an inlet area, and this is, you can see how deep this is right here. It's just right to my level of my boot, and then it drops off right here. But the only way to get to this is really to get in the water. You're not going to get out from the top. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to dig out a pocket right here, just like this, and it'll likely get water in it when I dig it out, and that's not a big deal to me. I could also put a leg hold trap in here, just as easy. But Conibears are a little bit less of a hassle, and they don't take up as much room to carry in your pack. That's what I really like about them. So I'm going to dig this out back into the bank a pretty good ways. But I want to leave myself some dry area up in there to put my bait on some type of piece of bark or something shoved up in there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab myself a bait holder of sorts. And all that really has to be is something from the environment. It'll probably work just fine. Now what I'll do with that is, I'll take my knife and I'll just sharpen one end of it so that it's almost like a stake. It's like this. And then I'll flatten the other end of it and dish it out a little bit so it's almost like a spatula. And I've got some lure here, bait, and all this really is a fish oil type bait. It's got fish oil as a main ingredient, and it's got some shellfish in it, and it's called shellfish bait. And I'm going to use about that much of it on the stick. Try to keep it as flat as possible so I don't dump it off of there. And I'm going to take that and shove that up in the very back of the hole and bury it in there with my hands, just like that. So it's above the water line, but it's level. So to get to that bait, the animal's going to have to go through my trap. Now, as far as a Conibear goes, you don't have to necessarily stake these things down. What I'm going to do is, as far as staking them from running off because they're a killing trap, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it together and set it with my hand, get it where I want it. Get my whiskers right dead in the center, and I'm using the last notch. That way it's deeper. He's got to get further into my trap, and that's what I want. I want him to get as far into my trap as he can when he sets this off. So I'm going to want the whiskers to the back, okay? And I'm going to set that right in front of this hole, just like this. Lay my chain up on the bank for a minute. And then I'm going to stake that in there with some sticks. And I'm just going to take this dry dead stick that I've been working with, break it in half, just like this. And I'm going to shove it in the ground like this at an angle. Now, if it's not setting up high enough for me, which it doesn't look like it is, I can put it on another stick. So let me find something bigger than that so we can make a really good example out of this set. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this trap, now that we've got our bait in the hole, clean any leaf debris out of there real quick, and we're going to set this trap, and I'm going to set it on a medium setting, but I want to set it on top of a stick, basically like this. So I want to squeeze it onto that stick and see where that puts me. I might even put that to the last setting, just like that. So it's on top of that stick, okay? And that stick is what I'm going to wedge in here into the bank, just like this, to get that trap right in front of the hole. You see that? Now if I have to, I can drop down through here and I can wedge that in just like this. and put another stick in front of it over on this side, just like this. But the key is, I want to keep that thing high enough that he's not going to reach over or be tempted to reach over the top of it. He's going to have to go through it to get in that trap or to get into that bait, okay? Now I've got that set in front of the pocket, and if it's not stable, I'm going to reset it until it is, because I want that thing to be very, very stable in there. And if I have to shove a stick underneath it, I will, to shore it up. It's not that big a deal. Okay, there we go. Now it's still dropping down just a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll grab another piece of wood that I broke off of that one and shove it in the bank right here like this, just to kind of support that. Okay. So now I've got that trap sitting right in front of the hole. And the only way he's going to get in there is through the trap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chain that's laying here, and I'm going to put a piece of wire in that chain. And like I said, you know, I don't have to have stakes for this type of trap, which is really the beauty of it. I can just wire this off to a solid object somewhere on the bank, and it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so now that I've got my trap where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and take this chain, and I'm just going to put this wire in it and wrap it around a few times with my hand until I can't wrap it anymore. And then I'll wrap around pliers if I have to. But as long as I get 3 or 4 wraps around that thing, nothing's going to take off with it. Remember, this is a killing type trap. And I'm just going to bring that over the top and wire it to a tree up here and do the exact same thing. Wrap it 4 or 5 times, and there's no way it's going anywhere. Just like that. Okay. Now if I want to be sneaky, I can cover that chain up with leaves, but that really doesn't matter too much. Like I said, the animal can't come into this trap any direction except through the water, and that's the key to this thing. And it's not real deep right there for him to stand in, and he can only come down this bank and come in the water, or there's a walk down log behind me that I'll show you in a minute that he can come in and enter the water. But he can't come from this direction, and he can't come over the top. Now you can see on this side of the bank there's a walk down log that goes right into that water, and our set is straight across. Okay, the bait's pretty much squared up in the hole right behind the triggers, and it's really right behind one side of the trigger, and that's what I want. I want him to have to reach through that trigger to get to that bait, and it's in the back like I said, and then he can come down on this side, but he's not coming down over here because there's trees in the way. Unless he comes right down here between the trees maybe. But he's going to have to get in the water to get that bait, and then he's going to have to go through that trap to get the bait, and that's the key to pocket sets. And like I said, I could have put a leg hold in there, but a conibear is a better bet, and he's not going anywhere once he gets hung in that conibear. Well guys, I appreciate you joining me for this video today on how to make a pocket set with a 110 body grip trap, or conibear as they're called. Very, very easy and convenient way to catch small game in a self-reliant situation. Also will give you plenty of fur throughout the season. I appreciate you joining me for this video. I thank you for everything that you do for me, for my school, and for my family. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can.